You know, it's so good seeing Ron and Julie here. How many people have taken the classes here? Folks, I used to sit up front because I was hard of hearing. And I don't know if I've ever met anybody with as much energy as Jeannie, because I kept seeing all these people when my eyes closed past before me. I'd wake up. But so glad to see you. As always, first of all, I apologize for dressing like I'm late for a softball game. I woke up late, and this was all I could come up with. I'm going to begin with a funny little story. Christina was there. So a few weeks ago, I'm speaking at Lumina Spiritual Center. Watch this, watch this. And so that concludes my talk. Oh, Carly, you're so late. I'm so sorry. So, after my talk, I gave a talk on scientists trying to recreate near-death experiences in this God helmet that they thought could do it. And of course, they didn't, but they thought they did. So I'm giving messages, and this beautiful elderly lady at the back, and I sense a gentleman above her energy, right? So I'm looking at a generation to me. I can't remember her name. I said, so I have a gentleman here. Is this your father? Yes. What did she say next? Okay. Oh, she said, yes, it's in the car.
Yeah.
I thought we were filming Weekend at Bernie's. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
So I said, excuse my forwardness, but your dead father's in the car? She says, no, I thought you asked about my cell phone. Okay. I thought it was fun at the time. Obviously not.
That was little Linda.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody had a good laugh. So, my own time. Had 45 minutes, right?
No.
Good. In the early 90s, there was a movie made, a comical movie about the afterlife called Defending Your Life. Anybody ever see it? It's absolutely hysterical. It's Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. Albert Brooks is this really materialistic guy. He's on the phone, I think. I haven't seen it in a long time. He's talking about what color Mercedes he wants. And he bends down, hits a bus head on, he goes to the afterlife. And so the reason it's called Defending Your Life, because you have to get in front of attorneys and they show a replay of your life. And his life is just a mess. He goes to another room, from what I recall, and meets Meryl Streep, whose life is perfect. She rescues people out of burning buildings and everything. And so, I won't tell you the ending, but somewhere along the way, Albert Brooks thinks there might be a second chance. And that's how this talks, second chances. And I've never talked about my stay in the hospital I've mentioned it, but, from from March of 2019 and to, excuse me, I'm getting the dates wrong. I wrote down the wrong dates, I was in a hurry. I was in the hospital in January. So I entered the hospital in June of 2019, and I came home in March of 2020, had to have a heart and a kidney transplant. And in the hospital, waiting and receiving a heart and a kidney, I got a heart and a kidney from a young Cuban boy named Carlos, 16 years old. When I was early on in the hospital, I was given 15% chance of living, and I was in and out of a coma. I had cold blue multiple times. I think, if I've mentioned this before, I apologize for it. And there was a 15% chance that I would live and get out of this alive. And so, I even had them hit me with the panels while I was alive. That brought me back to the 60s real quick. So, I stand before you today. There's a lot of people. I write real big. I don't have 15 pages to go over, okay? So, in the first 45 days, I was in and out of a coma. And I ended up spending a total of 238 days in the hospital. But even a number of people in the metaphysical group that I know were convinced I wouldn't make it. But here I am, I was given a second chance. So every day, all of us we get second chances. And then we have a redo. You know, the day begins anew, right? I do believe, and I may be metaphysically and spiritually incorrect, I do believe you can manifest certain paths in your life if you stray from the soul plan, right? Not only that, oh, this is a small talk, a short talk. Let's take a break. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, as spiritualists and metaphysical people with metaphysical gifts, we all have gifts to help others on their path. If we believe that our mission in life is to discover our gifts, then our purpose in life is then to use those gifts. That infinite intelligence, God, I am. God doesn't care if you say God. You know, even in the Bible, at certain times, He says, "I am what I am," or something like that. You can tell I didn't pay attention in Sunday school. We all have a responsibility to help ourselves and help other people. We all have gifts. Let's just not keep them to ourselves. Now, why was I given a chance and others weren't? You know, I was a 16-year-old boy who was beautiful. I'm Irish, so I cry a lot, right? So I read his obituary and just had to go for a walk because it makes you cry. He was the perfect boy. Helped with special needs children. He was Catholic. He was an altar server. And my favorite college is Notre Dame, University of Notre Dame. I took classes there online just to get some college because our company was having, you know, what they call it? No, I'll think of it. You know, every big company has an acronym or has something that just doesn't make sense. We were being downsized. Let go, Jerry. We're being right-sized. Excuse me. So many people were being downsized. I felt I had to have some college, a little bit of college, because I never went to college. So I attended Notre Dame Business Administration, got a certificate, all that. So I've been a Notre Dame person since 1971-72. As I'm looking at this obituary, Carlos Medina, this young man, was going to get a full ride scholarship to Notre Dame. Upon his graduating, he's going to graduate from the 11th grade, he's going to be a pilot. And I do have the picture. You know, I'll tell you about the picture in a second. My best friends bought me a stethoscope so I could listen to my heart. And I thought, well, if I ever meet the mom, mothers and sons have special relationship just like fathers and daughters, right? Then I'm going to let the mom, she'll be the first to hear it. So we got a chance. They contacted us about 4 months after my transplants, which were the first part of 2020. And so I'm speaking from Spirit. Spirit, would you just close the book? Okay. So they reached out to us. That's how we knew it was Carlos. And the last days of me being in the hospital before being transferred to another place for physical therapy, I could see a dark colored person. You know, I mean, it doesn't take long to be dark. I mean, I'm whiter than Caucasian. If I faded back into that wall, you probably would have seen me. But I couldn't tell who it was. You know, I just kept seeing this dark person in the room. And once we got home, then we got the letter that they would like us to meet. And it's a long process to go through that. You have to really make sure. We don't reach out to them. They have to reach out to us. So finally we got the opportunity to go over to St. Petersburg. I have a picture on my phone I'll show you afterwards, after we finish with it. And her mother got to listen to her son's heartbeat. And her right hand was on my shoulder. And she leaned over. She was a young person. She probably looked in her 40s. She had 5 children, a single mom. But I knew she found the heart when she just clutched the shoulder. Then I let the 2 brothers who were there, Carlos was in the middle of 5 people. I let the 2 brothers that were there, he also had 2 sisters, listen to it. And then the messages from Carlos started coming through. I don't know if I freaked them out, but the Cubans and Puerto Ricans, and they have an attachment to the other world. It just seems natural for them, for Hispanics. And so Carlos came through, started giving them messages, starts talking about Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, they go, oh my God. We would wake up in the morning and watch the Scooby-Doo cartoons, saying that, you know, something else about, the youngest had his hair slick back, and Carl kept talking about, I can't remember the brother's name, your hair. I said, so what's different about your hair? He goes, well, I did something different to it. I cut it, now it's spiked or whatever. And so, that's when you know that people like us are meant to share our gifts. You know, I don't do as many readings anymore. I'm trying to do more writing. We all have metaphysical gifts. So why did I survive and Carlos didn't? I can't answer that question. You know, I don't know. I have this heartless kidney, and I remember the surgeon down at, I still call it Florida South, right? It's called Advent downtown, Advent Rollins. And the surgeon told my wife, Mary, this is the most perfect heart I've ever seen. No drugs, no alcohol. And you go, why? We don't know the answer why. All I know is I have a legacy to Carlos and to his family. We met just his mom. We look forward, I think next year we're planning to go back again. Mary keeps in touch with them. And so I think the answer is we don't know, and that's okay. You know, it's part of the Spirit's plan for us. Part of, and again, I'm still Catholic, Jeannie, sorry. I'm still Catholic. It's a struggle. But I think the Spirit wants me to stay Catholic so I can give visibility to the gifts I have and tell Catholics it's okay. It's okay. It's not woo-woo. It's not hippie type stuff. So, at first I felt guilty. But then I thought, well, I was given a second chance. And even Carlos came through somebody else, I don't know who it was, and said, don't feel guilty. He gets over there, he says, this was my life plan. I get it now. He was killed in a car crash. And his mom said, he got a real fast car about 3-4 weeks earlier. His mom said, you're going to kill yourself that day if you don't slow down. And so he was speeding, and there was a passenger, of course, passenger, not a scratch. Carlos, I think I have the video of them wheeling him down to take the heart. The heart only has a shelf life of 4 hours. That's why it's the last thing taken out. Kidney, 30 hours, not sure about the liver, but he gave the liver. At the same time, it was 11-hour surgery. I'm getting a heart and a kidney because I had to have them back to back. Another person was getting his liver, you know. And so, why was I given a second chance? And I met people in there that, God, I hope they got out. I mean, I was in ICU for, I don't know, a little over 200 days. And I knew there's some people there that I bonded with that I just hope and pray they made it. But I know one of them didn't. So I have responsibility, Spirit. I have a chance to use my gifts. And, you know, I'm down to about 1 reading a week, which is good for me, you know. I'm not doing it for a living. I'm doing it to give back to Spirit. And I'm writing on my 3rd book, which will be available in 2024. Thank you very much for the plug. I don't know when. It's probably in the fall at this point. Jerry is slow. But, and the book will be dedicated to him. Because without him, this just doesn't happen. So anyway, we have gifts we can use, whether it's this, whether it's healing, whether it's whatever. And just please don't keep them to yourself. Thank you very much.